All righty, good morning. How are all of you? So, tomatoes. Y'all know that I'm hardcore into tomatoes because they're so revealing. They teach you so much about your soils. Um, and it's such an interesting plant, the way it'll reach its heights and when it flowers and the different types and breeds and flavors and flavor palettes and sizes and shapes and um, just a fascinating plant. And I've studied it specifically because of how revealing it is. Um, and some of the calls that I'm getting, some of the emails that I'm getting, um, are about recognizing some of these problems. Um, the people are seeing different things throughout the country. Um, the yellow edged leaf. That's and that's the one that scares me the most. It's too much water because of the clayification. The gardens that have been dug out are just basically water bowls and water dishes, um, and the roots are well, they're not drinking anymore. You've actually got root rot when the leaves start to yellow along their edges, um, and you would have expected a different response, like the leaf to curl under versus over. And again, there's all sorts of different explanations for all sorts of different things that the tomato plant does. Um, But ultimately, a lot of this comes down to, yeah, what are the amendments in your soil? What do you got down in there? What do you got protecting you? Um, do you have, like, when I plant my tomatoes, I go deep, and I plant things or put things in the ground like wood chips, like corn husks, things that will absorb water and allow the tomato to drink when it needs it, not just be flooded. My soil so well drains off, though, that I actually need those things in there like a sponge to retain the water. That that's some of the issues that people are dealing with, because around their garden is all clay. Their grass is struggling and suffering, and well, um, it's a bowl. It's a bowl. You've got to treat your garden like you treat your yard, and that's why the book is written addressing the yard more so than the garden, because it all matters. Doesn't matter whether it's a raised bed or a shallow bed or a blocked off or fenced off, or it all matters. It really does. The water needs somewhere to go. Um, like Mr. Rope was saying, your roots run deep on some of these plants, like alfalfa. I love alfalfa. I love it for feeding the soil and feeding it. I love alfalfa. This thing's got it can have up to a 30-foot root. An incredible plant, great for breaking up your topsoils. Um, Great cover crop, blah 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 blah. But as you leave the roots in there and let them die off, you've got a 30-foot hole as the root fades away and does its thing. That's kind of the thing you need to think about. You know, I'm gonna beat on this again because it's the NPK policies. They've tried to teach everybody that your nitrogen, your phosphorus, and your potassium are all you need for your plants. Well, the agricultural industry has actually come out and said, well, that's not so true, because we're finding that there's actually 16. Um, Anytime you start having issues with some of your plants, now tomatoes are a little different, but when you start having issues with your plants, it's calcium and magnesium or a sulfur issue. Um, Dealing with the different soils in what your amendments are and what you've got down in the soils. Um, and I stress when I do some of these, because it seems like I go so scientific and so deep into this, but I'm trying to prove a point here. Um, Even the agriculture industry is starting to recognize that micronutrients and the amendments in the soil are so important. Um, if I can rattle off this list from memory, um, I know y'all tell me take notes. I know you do, but your boron, your chloride, um, your cobalt, your copper, your iron, your magnesium. What's that other funky one to say? Molybdenum, something like that. Your nickel, your sodium, um, zinc. They're recognizing these, and you know, sorry to say, your chemical companies are hearing them and starting to put these into their chemical fertilizers. All I'm going to say is, in the last 100 years, tests have been done around the planet. The last 100 years, America, the number one country leading this, is 85% deficiency in our soils. Deficiencies. This is the scientific agricultural report. We're that deficient in our soils. We have to be putting stuff back, whether we're composting it back or whether we're uh, um, adding the amendments. I posted that I'm not allowed to talk about blooming minerals. In my last video, the link is in the last video. I may move it here. We'll see. My head's kind of spinning with this, because the conversation with tomatoes this morning, I was trying to point out that you can actually test your tomatoes. Now, I know most of the time, again, it sounds like I'm talking over people. You can do the Brix test. If you're a gardener and you have the equipment, you can do the Brix test, which is a measurement of sugar on a scientific study as to how much sugar is available in the individual plants being produced. The highest producing ones are anything in trees right now because they have the deepest root base. They go the furthest down. They bring back these deficient minerals. We're not getting them on the surface in our gardens because we're 85% deficient in the United States versus any other country. It's that bad. We've overdone it. Or, as I say, we've stopped the absorption rate because we're in this is where a lot of people miss out. They're ignoring the food web. Well, this is what the chemical system is doing and blocking the food web, stopping the food web from working. And yeah, I've talked in the past in other videos about how it's causing huge amounts of carbon to be released into the air as it's dying and it's struggling to survive. But your the chemical companies are feeding the agricultural people, their fertilizers, your pesticides, your herbicides, and now they're coming out with another one, making farmers think that this is an issue. Is your fungicides? Whoa! Between your herbicides and your fungicides, there goes the food web because they're attacking the microscopic level. Why are you stopping the one thing that is out there that can reach the furthest and bring back the minerals that your plants need to produce what the human body needs and what our animals need? Well, it trails off into feeding farm animals and what have you, and the book's not about that. But when your wild animals are attacking your gardens, obvious there's something in those plants that the animals desperately need. If it was available elsewhere, they wouldn't be attacking your garden. There's things here. You can test your tomatoes. Like I said, your Brix level. You'll see the numbers are so far down on your Brix level, it's pathetic. You can take a tomato, store-bought tomato, take I don't care, a Kool-Aid pitcher or a bowl or whatever, put enough water in it that the tomato would fit normally. If it sinks, that's a mineral rich. You just got to remember, some of these minerals, your zincs and what have you, they're heavier than water. When your plants are producing fruits and vegetables that are rich in these things, they're too heavy. They won't float. They'll sink. That's the good stuff. That's the ones you want. The ones that are floating, they're blocked. They're GMO'd. They're chemicalized. They're NPK'd. They don't have the minerals in them. They're not healthy. This is our problem in our country. We've got to fix this. First off, let's address the 85% loss in our soils. Let's bring back and go the other direction. Because we've got to fix this one way or another. We have to fix this. It's telling me I'm off, but we'll see what the video looks like. We have to go forward. The Green Wizard's Guide will take us forward. And yeah, that's a new sticker I got from It's Me Brian. Great. I know you've probably all noticed it. That's sitting over my shoulder. Great channel. It's Me Brian. This is his new channel icon. He's a coin collector. Great guy. Great guy. Those of you that are into having those kind of stickers and what have you, I'm open to them. I love them. I'll talk about any channel that's got them. You want to send them to me, I'll talk about them. Great channel, great coin collector, great all-around guy. But yeah, if we can fix these issues and start turning this around and bring the food web back in our yards, and I know a lot of you are concerned with this issue and addressing it and getting your yard growing and having to cut as much grass as I cut. That's not the issue here. It's not the issue. It's not about making more work for you. It's about getting healthier, getting your soil healthy. If your soil's healthy, you have fewer weeds. I know a lot of you are fighting those weed issues. If we can get the soil healthy, the grass will expand its roots. You can still cut it short. Without adding the amendments, you can still get an incredible yard. It's not going to be as green. It's not going to be as vibrant. It's not going to be and it's probably not going to grow as much as mine does. But it's all in what you want. We have to fix this food web issue. This is the simplest way to do it. It truly is. Gets us off the chemicals, gets us away from this insecticides and herbicides, gets us away from the pesticides, the herbicides. Just reading that and seeing that now they're coming up with a fourth chemical substance to attack the soil and take these nutrients out of our foods, out of our farms, is just mind-blowing. We got to get away from this system. We have to go a different direction. Mother Nature's provided us with the answers. We've got to do something. So yeah, check your tomatoes. Check your tomatoes. Check your store-boughts against what you're pulling out of your own garden. Your own garden's going to be better than store-bought, but you can make it even better. You can get those added minerals and amend your soil. You can skip the compost pile with the blooming minerals and come a completely different direction than what I like. I love taking a living organism and applying it to my garden and enhancing its ability. But I'm into the smells and I'm into getting my fingers dirty and but you don't need to go that direction with Bloomin' Minerals. You can go the opposite direction and still get all of what we need. These things are tested. These things are checked. They don't have a lot of they're scientifically cleaned up and made right. You can eat Bloomin' Minerals. It's that good. It's that clean. It's that organic. So check your plants. Check what's going on. Like I said in another video, you want to trick your tomatoes into making themselves healthier and put them in defensive and mist a little bit of aspirin on them. But a lot of times, because the leaves will roll different directions. If they go down, you've got water problems. They're going to yellow. It's just you're sitting in a bowl and you've got too much water. And with the amount of rain we've had this year, your raised bed gardeners are going to be the better off if the drainage is right. They're going to have hand over fist better crops. It is what it is, because we're not addressing the yard around the garden. We're doing the garden, but we need that water to move out and get out into the food web and get out into the grass. It's just kind of those things. But your boron and your molybdenum, these are two minerals that are very, very important. Very, very important to your tomatoes, and will actually cause your leaves to roll and curl. Now, I know sometimes it's the plant itself trying to slow down how much dehydration it's got because it's been too dry, so the leaves curl, or there's too much wind, or there's all sorts of that's why I love the tomato plant. It is so revealing and talks to you so well about what's going on. And that's why I concentrated so many years on just growing tomatoes, and watching what it's revealing to me as my soils are getting better, the tomatoes are getting better, and they're revealing more and more to me. And it's such a fascinating plant. But yeah, check your tomatoes. Check to see if they float. Check to see if they float. If you're getting floaters, find another store. Find another organic farmer. And again, the organics are different for different countries. So what their measurements are and what they're talking about are two different things. So there's 16 minerals per the agro industry that we need to worry about. But that's for plants, everybody. Okay? Understand that's what the agro industry is saying is required to get the best plants. They're not addressing your animals. They're not addressing the human beings. We need the mighty 90. There's a lot more we need that we're not getting. We can spruce that up. We can make that bioavailable to us out of our gardens. But we've got to get the stuff back in the soil. If the reports are saying 85% deficiency in our soils, tested worldwide, what have you got in your backyard? I read an article today. I was surprised, but last week with all this stuff going on, nobody heard this. This never made it to the mainstream media. I'm still looking for a second source to prove this and to back this up, but the Trump crew has stopped and done what they can to put a stop to the geoengineering that's been going on and stop the spraying across the United States. Finally. But the news isn't talking about it. Trump has done another good thing for us and stopped these chemicals from being sprayed. Thank God. But now we got to, if that's going to hold past 2020, then we've got to address our soils and wash this stuff out of our soils. That's all you got to do. And then move forward. Address your gardens. If we don't start growing at home with what they're telling the farmers what to do, I mean, how much herbicide and pesticide are you willing to eat that it's okay? It's all ultimately getting into those tomatoes. It's all ultimately getting into the carrots, the peas, everything, everything. All of these chemicals are soaking into these plants. Do you want to eat them? I had mentioned this morning that, they've got GMO tomatoes out there. People are shocked. It's like, yeah, these tomato seeds won't germinate. It's a GMO. It's designed specifically that way. Chemically back to the seeds, chasing the money. You have to buy seeds every single year for a singular plant because it won't germinate the following year. The seeds are no good. Okay, if the seeds are no good, do you really want to eat that plant? That's what you need to ask yourself. Do you really want to eat that fruit? If you can't get seeds off of it the following year, there's something unhealthy about that thing. Do you really want to be eating those? Start checking your foods. Get a Brix measurement tool. Check your foods. We can fix this. We can go a different direction. So yeah, watch your tomatoes. Watch how they're curling. Watch what they're doing. They're trying to tell you something. We can fix all this. We have to get the food web active again. We have to get it absorbing. We have to get these minerals back. Without the food web, these minerals aren't going to soak into these plants. They're not going to come back. We're not going to retain the water. You're not going to get the soil conditions. We got to fix this. We got to head a different direction. The solutions are in the book, as Jerry likes to say. Wow, longer than I wanted to go. And I hope I didn't glaze over anything and go too fast, and I hope I didn't overtalk anybody and say things that I lost anybody on. And I try not to do this. I try to keep it on a everyday level. But this is scientific proven stuff, guys. The scientists are finally starting to come out and speak about this stuff. We got a lot of issues here. We can fix this. Globally, we can fix this. Here's a bunch of solutions. The Green Wizard's Guide. Check my facts. Go ahead. You'll see I'm right. Anyways, I'm going to get out of here. I don't want to chew your ear all day long, but you guys have a wonderful day. Have a great weekend. Let's hear from you about how your gardens are going and what's been going on. Send me some more of those photos. I'm loving seeing what I'm seeing. Great job, everybody. You know where to catch me. I'll be out there in the stream somewhere. Have a wonderful day and a great weekend. We'll see you.